I used to work long hours after school just to finish my projects and deadlines. The school building where I stayed at was a large building with 5 floors and a basement. I was a painting major, and most of the time, I was given painting projects that would take at least 5 days to finish. And since I couldn't bring them home on account of them being quite big, I decided to work on them at the studio after class. The studios were located at the basement, and to be honest, when it reaches 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the basement looks pretty dark and creepy. Luckily, I had, as a companion, the night guard. Every time I would work on my projects, the night guard would stop by the studio and ask me when I would be done. "You know I can't let students stay behind after 6 p.m., he would say. "I know, but I just need to finish this painting," I would say. "Please, I have a deadline and I can't bring it home." The night guard would often give in, on the condition that I would clean up after myself, which was a fair bargain, so to speak. One day, I was working on a particularly large painting of the building and the overall landscape surrounding it. When I was told the deadline of this project was in 4 days, I immediately started to prepare for the next 4 days' worth of working after hours. I didn't mind if it meant leaving the school at 8 or even midnight. I had to finish it. The night guard, upon hearing this, promised that he would keep me company throughout the whole endeavor. "It would be nice to have some company while you work," he said. "That way, time flies faster." So, on the first night, I began to work after hours while the guard went about patrolling the building, with only his footsteps echoing throughout the floor. While I was painting, I began to wonder why the night guard would always give in to my working after hours, even if he knew he would be in trouble. Maybe he didn't want to admit it, but he might actually be afraid of the school building itself. After all, not all guards are brave and fearless. I chuckled and went on painting when, all of a sudden, the power went out. I reached for a small flashlight and called for the night guard. I wondered if there was a power outage. I decided to walk and look for the night guard. "Hello? Guard, are you there?" I called in the darkness as I walked down the corridors. I felt completely alone, and quite frankly, terrified in the dark. I couldn't tell where I was going or what I was hearing, if there ever was a sound. Then, I heard the familiar footsteps of the night guard's shoes. I let out a deep sigh and turned around. Thank goodness! I thought for a moment I stopped mid-sentence as I stared at the shape behind me. It was the night guard. At least, I think it was the night guard. It was tall and pale and almost deathly thin. It wore the night guard's uniform and had a rather long, twisted grin stretched across its paper-white face. It stared at me with its terrifying grimace before hunching over like an animal. Then all of a sudden, it began to crawl towards me. I didn't know what it was, so I began to run as fast as my feet could carry me. I ran all the way up towards the first floor without even looking back. I could still hear its footsteps coming after me. As soon as I saw the main door, I quickly bolted out and ran into another night guard. "Are you all right?" the other guard asked. "What are you doing here at this hour?" I immediately told him that I was working after hours and that the building's night guard allowed me. Then there was a power outage and I tried looking for the night guard. But then something creepy was coming after me and I thought it was the night guard and... "Are you sure you saw a night guard in the building?" the other guard asked. "Yes, I've been working after school on my projects and the night guard would always be there inside," I said. I could tell there was something odd when he asked that question. "Why?" "I'm the only night guard on duty," the other guard said. "There hasn't been a guard in your building for almost a year now." I couldn't believe what he was saying. But if what he says is true, then who was with me during the times I would stay after hours? Who was my companion while I was painting in the basement? I don't stay beyond 6 p.m. anymore. If I have a deadline, I bring the canvas home, regardless of how big it was or how heavy it was. I didn't want to stay in the studio basements anymore, especially when I look back at the building every time I leave.